Some things should never be disturbed. Some things should never be touched. Emma Holloway stands before a towering, decayed mansion, hidden deep within the rural countryside. It is her inheritance, left to her by a great aunt she never knew. The mansion is old, Victorian architecture, long abandoned, its windows like empty eyes watching her. The wind howls through the dead trees surrounding it. She steps inside. The air is thick with dust and the scent of something rotting. The wooden floor groans beneath her weight, but what truly unnerves her is the feeling that she is not alone. That night, Emma explores the house. She finds a locked attic door, one that shouldn't be locked since no one has lived here for decades. The key is already in the lock. Inside, the attic is a graveyard of forgotten things. White sheets cover old furniture, and the air is thick with the scent of decay. In the center of the attic, she sees it, a wooden chest covered in dust and strange scratches. She hesitates, then opens it. Inside, wrapped in yellowed lace, is a porcelain doll. The doll is eerily perfect, except for a single hairline crack running down its cheek. Its glass eyes glisten unnaturally. A faded note falls from the chest. It reads, "She must never wake." Emma laughs nervously. Just a doll, right? She takes it downstairs, unaware that the air in the attic has suddenly gone still. That night, as she sleeps, Emma hears a soft tapping. At first, she thinks it's the wind against the window, until she realizes it's coming from inside the house. She walks into the hallway. Her breath catches. The doll is no longer in the living room. It is sitting at the top of the staircase, its head tilted slightly, its glass eyes staring right at her. Emma swallows her fear. I must have forgotten moving it. She places it back on the chair and returns to bed. The next morning, Emma walks into the kitchen and stops cold. The doll is sitting on the counter, its tiny porcelain hand pressed against the window, as if it was watching something outside. Emma's blood runs cold. She grabs the doll and throws it into a cabinet. Enough of this. That night, Emma dreams of a little girl in a Victorian dress, standing in the attic, whispering her name. She wakes to soft giggling. Her body goes rigid. She turns her head. The doll is sitting on her bed, its lips parted, as if it had just spoken. Emma screams. Emma researches the house. The doll belonged to Eleanor Blackwood, a little girl who died mysteriously in the mansion over a century ago. Rumors said her soul was trapped in the doll. Every previous owner of the house had either disappeared or went mad. That night, the doll whispers her name. From the shadows of the room, something moves, something small, something that giggles. Emma decides to burn the doll. She throws it into the fireplace, but the flames die instantly. A cold voice whispers behind her, "You shouldn't have done that." She whirls around. The doll is standing upright on the mantelpiece, its cracked face illuminated by dying embers. Emma runs for the door, but it won't open. The windows won't break. She is trapped. Emma hears soft, shuffling footsteps. She turns. A small, shadowy figure stands in the hallway. A child, but its eyes are hollow. Its mouth is stitched shut, and it is holding the doll. Emma screams. Everything goes black. Days later, a real estate agent arrives at the mansion, looking for Emma. The house is silent, empty. Only one thing remains in the living room. A porcelain doll, sitting in a chair, its glass blue eyes staring, its lips slightly parted, as if it is about to speak. Days pass. The real estate agent, Daniel Whitmore, stands before the Holloway mansion. It is silent, abandoned. Emma is gone. No sign of her. Inside, the mansion is untouched, but wrong. The air is too still. The dust in the corners undisturbed, as if time has frozen. Only one thing sits in the middle of the room. The porcelain doll. Daniel steps forward. The wood creaks beneath him. He hesitates, looking into its glassy blue eyes. For a moment, he swears he hears it. A whisper. "Stay with me." Daniel stumbles back. Something is behind him. A little girl's breath against his neck. Daniel is not the only one searching. A reporter, Vanessa Crowley, is investigating a pattern. The Holloway mansion is not just another haunted house. The last 5 owners have vanished. In 1912, the entire Blackwood family disappeared overnight. Every case has one thing in common: a single porcelain doll, always found sitting in the center of the house after the owner disappears. But there's more. The doll has existed for longer than records can trace. It was not made, it was found, buried beneath the house's foundation, centuries before it was even built. Vanessa arrives at the mansion at dusk. She steps inside, her flashlight cutting through the dark. The house is dead silent. But then, she hears it. A soft giggle. Her light flickers. The doll is on the staircase. She swears it wasn't there before. Then, footsteps above. Not human ones. Small, fast, skittering. Something is in the walls. Something that breathes. Vanessa finds an ancient, rotting tapestry in the attic. A depiction of a forgotten ritual. It shows figures in robes, kneeling before a cracked porcelain idol. Eyes gouged out, mouths stitched shut. And at the center of the tapestry, the doll. The exact doll that sits downstairs. Its crack in the same place. Its blue eyes, unnatural and knowing. The air grows thick. The shadows move on their own. Vanessa turns, and the doll is right there. Its lips move. No sound comes out. But inside Vanessa's mind, she hears it. "Let me out." Her nose begins to bleed. The walls around her ripple. Reality is bending. The doll is not just a doll, it is a prison. For something ancient, something that should never be freed. The walls groan. The doors slam shut. Vanessa runs, but the hallways stretch impossibly long. The doll is now everywhere, on the staircase, in the windows, behind her, ahead of her. It is all the same doll. The house is shifting, changing. It has been waiting. Not to keep people out, to keep something in. Vanessa collapses in the living room. And then, she sees her. Emma. Standing in the shadows. Her eyes are hollow. Her face is stitched at the mouth. Her hands grip the doll like a lifeline. And in a voice not her own, she whispers, "You should have left." Vanessa runs. The doll is laughing now. The air warps. The walls twist and turn like flesh. The front door is right there, so close. She reaches for it. And then, everything goes dark. A new real estate listing. The Holloway mansion is on the market again. No mention of Emma. No mention of Vanessa. Only one thing remains in the house. Sitting in the center of the room. A porcelain doll. Its glass blue eyes shining. Its lips slightly parted, as if it is about to whisper again. The doll is not haunted. It is a vessel. A prison for something far older and darker. The house is a trap. A cage built to contain whatever is inside the doll. Those who stay too long become part of the house, like Emma. The cycle never ends. The moment Claire brought the doll home, the house changed. It wasn't the creaking floors or the flickering lights. It was something deeper, something unseen. At first, it was just a feeling, a shiver down the spine whenever Lilith's icy blue eyes met hers. But then, things started moving. Emily swore she left the doll on the shelf, yet every morning, it sat closer to her bed. Some nights, she could hear faint whispers, her name curling through the darkness like a breath against her ear. And then came the scratches on the floor, the laughter in the walls. By the time Claire realized the truth, it was too late. Lilith was already inside. The old antique shop sat at the corner of Blackwood Street, shrouded in dust and forgotten memories. It was here that Emily's mother, Claire, found the doll, porcelain-skinned with icy blue eyes that gleamed unnaturally under the dim store lights. The doll's platinum blonde hair flowed in elegant waves down its back, and it wore a shimmering deep purple gown that seemed to shift hues in the light. Claire was captivated. "Perfect for Emily," she murmured. ignoring the way the shopkeeper's expression darkened. As Claire placed the doll in the bag, the elderly owner's voice trembled. "That is not a toy. It's called Lilith. Keep it locked away at night." Claire laughed off the warning and took the doll home. That night she presented Lilith to Emily, who gasped in awe at its beauty. "I love her," Emily exclaimed, hugging the doll tight. But as her mother turned to leave, she could swear Lilith's glassy eyes flickered. Just for a second. That night, as Emily slept, the room grew unnaturally cold. The air felt dense, heavy, as though something unseen was watching. The doll sat on the shelf, unmoving, its frozen smile unchanging. But at precisely 3:13 a.m., the room grew deathly silent. Emily stirred in her sleep. The doll, which had been perched neatly on the shelf, was now sitting on the floor facing her bed. Its hands were positioned differently, as though reaching out. The closet door creaked open. A whisper, soft, almost melodic, brushed against Emily's ear. "Emily?" Her eyes shot open. The doll was now on her bed, resting against her pillow. Its sapphire eyes gleamed in the darkness. With a scream, Emily threw Lilith across the room. Claire rushed in, flipping on the lights. The doll sat innocently by the window, exactly where it had been before bedtime. "Sweetheart, you were dreaming," Claire reassured, tucking her daughter in. But Emily knew better. The next few days were a nightmare. Objects in the house moved inexplicably. Emily's toys were found torn apart, as if by small, clawed hands. The television turned on at night, always showing static and faint whispers. Claire found deep scratches on the wooden floor, leading toward Emily's room. One evening, while folding laundry, Claire heard the bathroom faucet running. But when she walked in, she froze. Lilith was sitting on the bathroom counter, her tiny porcelain hand resting against the mirror. Scrawled in dripping water were the words, "Let me in." Claire grabbed the doll, ready to throw it away. But the moment she touched it, an unbearable chill spread through her veins. A whisper coiled around her mind. "You are mine now." That night, Emily woke up to the sound of laughter. But it wasn't hers. She turned, and Lilith was standing on her nightstand. Not sitting, standing. Its painted lips curled into a grin too wide for its face, its glass eyes pulsating with an eerie glow. Emily screamed as the doll's porcelain fingers twitched, its tiny legs moving on their own. The room temperature dropped below freezing, her breath visible in the air. The doll whispered her name over and over, its voice growing deeper, guttural, inhuman. Claire burst in, flipping on the lights, but Lilith was nowhere to be found. Only a small, icy handprint remained on the bedsheet. Desperate, Claire called a priest. The priest, Father Daniel, arrived the next day. The moment he stepped into the house, he shuddered. "This thing, it's ancient," he murmured. "It's not just haunted, it's cursed." Lilith sat in the center of the living room, as though waiting. Its sapphire eyes flickered, a knowing look in their depths. The priest began to pray. The house shook violently, furniture crashing to the floor. A high-pitched scream erupted from the doll as its body twisted and convulsed, its limbs snapping unnaturally. And then, silence. When the dust settled, the doll lay still. Its once vibrant eyes were now dull. Father Daniel wrapped it in cloth. This must be sealed away, forever. Claire and Emily never spoke of it again. But miles away, in another antique shop, a new doll appeared on the shelf. A porcelain-skinned beauty with platinum blonde hair and a deep purple gown. Waiting. Watching. Smiling. Miles away, in a quiet little antique shop, a new doll appeared on the highest shelf. Porcelain skin, platinum blonde hair, a flowing deep purple gown that shimmered under the dim store lights. Her icy blue eyes gleamed, waiting, watching. And as the shopkeeper turned off the lights for the night, the doll's lips twitched, just a fraction, into the faintest hint of a smile. She had found a new home. When a young girl, Lily, receives a beautiful yet eerie doll resembling Elsa, but dressed in a stunning emerald green gown, as a birthday gift. Strange and horrifying events unfold in her home. The doll harbors an ancient curse, feeding off fear and despair. As the nights grow darker and whispers fill the house, Lily's parents must uncover the sinister origins of the doll before it consumes their daughter's soul. Lily Foster had always loved dolls. On her 8th birthday, her parents, Mark and Sarah, gifted her a beautiful doll they had found at an antique shop. The doll had soft porcelain skin, icy blue eyes, and long platinum blonde hair cascading in perfect waves. Unlike the traditional Elsa doll, this one wore an elegant green satin dress with intricate silver embroidery. Lily was mesmerized. "She's perfect," she squealed, hugging the doll tightly. That night, as she placed the doll on her shelf, she noticed something peculiar. The doll's head was slightly tilted, as if it were watching her. Strange occurrences began the next night. As Sarah tucked Lily into bed and turned off the lights, she heard something, a faint whisper. "Lily, play with me." Sarah's heart pounded. She glanced at Lily, who was already drifting into sleep. Shaking off her unease, she left the room. At midnight, Lily woke up to soft giggles. Her eyes darted toward the shelf. The doll wasn't there. Instead, it was sitting at the edge of her bed. Lily's behavior started changing. She became withdrawn, her once bright laughter fading. One morning, Sarah noticed red scratches on Lily's arms. "Honey, what happened?" I don't know," Lily whispered. "Maybe Elsa did it." Sarah's blood ran cold. "Sweetheart, dolls can't hurt people." Lily didn't answer. She just looked over Sarah's shoulder, her eyes locked on the shelf. The doll was grinning. Mark was skeptical of Sarah's growing paranoia. That changed when he saw the doll move. One night, while heading to the kitchen for a glass of water, Mark froze in the hallway. A shadow darted across. He turned on the light. Nothing. Then he noticed something. The doll, previously in Lily's room, was now sitting on the hallway floor. Its head turned toward him. Desperate for answers, Sarah visited the antique shop where they had bought the doll. The shopkeeper's face turned pale when she described it. "That doll. It's cursed," he whispered. "It belonged to a girl named Evelyn Greenfield in the 1800s. She died mysteriously, and her spirit is trapped within the doll. It seeks companionship, but it also feeds on fear." Sarah's hands trembled. "How do I get rid of it?" The shopkeeper shook his head. "You don't. If you try to destroy it, it will only return, angrier." Lily's condition worsened. She spoke to the doll in whispers. Her eyes turned hollow, dark circles forming beneath them. One night, Sarah woke up to hear Lily singing a lullaby in an unfamiliar voice. She rushed to Lily's room. Lily was standing in the middle holding the doll, her head tilted, smiling. But her eyes, they weren't her own anymore. They were cold, unfeeling. The doll's eyes. Sarah and Mark had no choice. They had to end this. They took the doll to an abandoned church, where a priest agreed to perform an exorcism. The moment the prayers began, the doll's body twitched violently. A piercing scream filled the air. Lily, miles away at home, let out a blood-curdling shriek as her body convulsed. The doll's porcelain face cracked. Then, silence. Lily woke up, confused but safe. The doll was gone. Or so they thought. Months later, at a thrift store in another town, a woman picked up a beautiful antique doll wearing a green dress. It smiled at her. 3 months had passed since the nightmare ended for the Foster family. Or so they believed. In a quiet town 50 miles away, Evelyn Carter, a 36-year-old single mother, was shopping for her daughter Mia's upcoming 7th birthday. She wandered through a small thrift store, looking for something special. Her eyes landed on a stunning porcelain doll, its emerald green gown glistening under the dim store lights. Mia loved Elsa, and this doll was unique, a rare find. She picked it up. It felt strangely warm. "Perfect," she whispered, unaware of the dark energy now tethering itself to her family. Mia adored her new doll from the moment she unwrapped it. "She's so pretty, Mommy," she chirped. "Her name is Elsa, but I think she likes the name Evelyn better." Evelyn frowned. "Sweetheart, how do you know that?" Mia smiled. "She told me." That night, as Evelyn checked on her daughter, she noticed the doll sitting at the edge of Mia's bed, facing the girl. She could have sworn she left it on the shelf. Shrugging it off, she placed the doll back where it belonged. She never saw the slow, deliberate blink it made as she turned off the light. It started with whispers. Then came the nightmares. Mia woke up screaming one night, clawing at her arms. Evelyn rushed in, gasping as she saw fresh scratch marks on her daughter's pale skin. "Mia, what happened?" Mia sobbed, pointing toward the shelf. The doll sat there, completely still, except for its head, which seemed slightly tilted. "She doesn't like when I ignore her," Mia whispered. Evelyn felt an icy chill crawl up her spine. Determined to prove it was Mia harming herself in her sleep, Evelyn set up a baby monitor in her daughter's room. The next morning, she reviewed the footage. What she saw turned her stomach. At 3:14 a.m., Mia lay perfectly still. The doll, however, was not. It moved, slowly, unnaturally, climbing down from the shelf. It stood by Mia's bedside, its small porcelain hand reaching toward her arm. The moment it made contact, red scratches formed. And then, the doll turned. It stared directly into the camera and smiled. Evelyn screamed, dropping the laptop. The house became a prison of terror. Lights flickered. Objects moved on their own. Mia began speaking in an old-fashioned, eerie voice that wasn't hers. One night, Evelyn awoke to a strange noise. A soft, rhythmic tapping. It was coming from Mia's room. As she entered, her breath caught in her throat. Mia was sitting in bed, giggling softly. The doll sat in her lap, its small hand tapping against the wooden nightstand. "Mommy," Mia whispered without looking up. "She says we should all be together forever." Evelyn grabbed the doll and hurled it against the wall. It let out a piercing, inhuman scream. Evelyn sought out an expert, Dr. Malcolm Rhodes, a paranormal investigator. When he arrived at the house, he immediately sensed the darkness. "This isn't just a haunted doll," he murmured, examining it. "It's a conduit. Something far worse is attached to it." He placed a crucifix near the doll. The moment it made contact, the wood burned black. "This spirit doesn't just want companionship," he said gravely. "It wants to possess." Evelyn's heart pounded. "How do we stop it?" Dr. Rhodes hesitated. "We need to perform a severance ritual," he said. "But it won't be easy. The spirit will fight back." That night, they performed the ritual. Dr. Rhodes chanted prayers, lighting protective sigils around the doll. The moment he began, the room grew freezing cold. Then, an ear-piercing shriek. The doll levitated, its green dress fluttering as an unseen force howled through the room. Mia, possessed, let out a guttural laugh. "You cannot take me away. She is mine," Evelyn sobbed. "No, she's my daughter." Dr. Rhodes pressed a blessed medallion against Mia's forehead. She convulsed, screaming as dark energy poured out of her. The doll cracked, its porcelain skin shattered, revealing a charred black core. With a final, deafening screech, the energy was sucked into the medallion. Then, silence. The doll lay in pieces. Mia collapsed, breathing heavily. "It's over," Dr. Rhodes whispered. But as Evelyn held Mia, she didn't see the last tiny fragment of the doll's face. Its lips curled upward in a final knowing smirk. Months later, at an underground black market auction, a mysterious collector examined a small, unmarked box. Inside, a single porcelain shard from a once beautiful doll lay wrapped in velvet. The collector grinned. "Ah," he whispered, "she's not done yet. The end. Or is it?"